The Galactic Empire stood as an unshakable colossus, its reach stretching across countless star systems, its fleets unmatched in both size and technological prowess. For centuries, they had expanded their dominion, crushing any resistance with ruthless efficiency. Their arrogance was as vast as their empire, their leaders convinced of their invincibility. To them, humanity was little more than a footnote in their grand conquest, a primitive species barely capable of interstellar travel, let alone posing a threat. The Empire's commanders scoffed at the idea of humans ever rising to challenge their might. They saw humanity's scattered colonies as easy targets, ripe for exploitation. And so, they came, their ships descending upon human worlds with the cold precision of a predator toying with its prey. But the Empire had made a grave miscalculation. Humanity, though young in the galactic arena, was far from helpless. For decades, in the shadows of their struggling colonies, a secret project had been underway, a project born of desperation, ingenuity, and an unyielding will to survive. Deep within the asteroid belts of a forgotten system, far from the prying eyes of the Empire, humanity's greatest minds had toiled in secrecy. Their goal was audacious: to create a weapon that could level the playing field, a vessel unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. They called it the Eclipse, a supercarrier designed not just to fight, but to redefine the very nature of war. The Eclipse was a marvel of human engineering, a testament to what could be achieved when a species refused to bow to despair. Its hull was cloaked in advanced stealth technology, rendering it invisible to even the most sophisticated sensors. Its power core, a revolutionary fusion of quantum energy and dark matter, provided near-limitless energy, allowing the ship to operate indefinitely without resupply. Its weaponry was equally groundbreaking, featuring particle cannons that could pierce through the thickest armor and missile systems capable of overwhelming entire fleets. But perhaps its most remarkable feature was its AI-driven tactical system, capable of analyzing and adapting to any battlefield scenario in real time. The Eclipse was not just a ship. It was a symbol of humanity's defiance, a declaration that they would not be erased without a fight. The project had been kept secret even from most of humanity, its existence known only to a select few. Among them was Dr. Elena Voss, the lead engineer and one of the driving forces behind the Eclipse. She had dedicated her life to the project, sacrificing everything for the dream of seeing humanity rise from the ashes of oppression. As the Empire's fleets tightened their grip on human space, Elena and her team worked tirelessly to complete the Supercarrier. Time was running out, but they were so close. The final tests were underway, the ship's systems coming online one by one. The air in the control room was thick with tension, every breath held as the team waited for the moment of truth. Then it happened. The Eclipse S-Core activated, its hum resonating through the massive hangar like the heartbeat of a sleeping giant. The ship's cloaking field shimmered into existence, rendering it invisible to the naked eye. Its weapon systems powered up, their targeting arrays locking onto simulated enemies with pinpoint accuracy. The AI tactical system ran through countless scenarios, its algorithms adapting and evolving with each passing second. The Eclipse was ready. Elena stood in the control room, her eyes fixed on the holographic display before her. She felt a surge of pride, but also a deep sense of responsibility. This ship was humanity's last hope, and it was now in her hands. As the Eclipse prepared for its maiden voyage, the Empire's fleets continued their relentless advance. They had no idea what was coming, no inkling of the storm that was about to be unleashed. For centuries, they had ruled the galaxy with an iron fist, their dominance unchallenged. But now, in the shadows, humanity had forged a weapon that would change everything. The Eclipse was more than a ship. It was a promise that humanity would not go quietly into the night, that they would fight for their place among the stars. And as the supercarrier slipped silently into the void, its cloaked form disappearing into the darkness, that promise began to take shape. The Empire's arrogance had blinded them to the truth, but soon they would see. Soon they would learn the cost of underestimating humanity. The Imperial fleet descended upon the human colony of New Horizon like a swarm of locusts, their sleek, angular ships blotting out the stars. The colony's defenses were pitiful in comparison, a handful of outdated frigates and a scattering of orbital platforms. The Empire's commanders had expected little resistance, And they were right. The human ships were quickly overwhelmed, their hulls torn apart by plasma fire. The orbital platforms fared no better, their shields collapsing under the relentless barrage. On the surface, panic spread like wildfire as the colonists realized their fate. They had heard stories of the Empire's brutality, of entire worlds reduced to ash. Now, it seemed their turn had come. But just as the Empire's forces prepared to deliver the final blow, something extraordinary happened. A ripple spread to the fabric of space, a distortion so subtle it was almost imperceptible. Then, with a flash of light, the eclipse appeared. It was massive, its sleek, angular hull bristling with weaponry. Its cloaking field dissipated, revealing its true form to the stunned onlookers. For a moment, there was silence, as if the galaxy itself had paused to witness the unveiling of humanity's secret weapon. Then, all hell broke loose. The eclipse moved with a speed and precision that defied belief. Its particle cannons lanced out, slicing through the Imperial ships like a hot knife through butter. The Empire's shields, so vaunted for their strength, offered no resistance. The Supercarrier's AI-driven tactical system analyzed the battlefield in real time, predicting the enemy's movements and countering them with devastating efficiency. Missiles streaked from its launch bays, each one finding its mark with unerring accuracy. The Imperial fleet, so confident in their superiority, found themselves outmatched and outmaneuvered. The human colonists watched in awe as the eclipse turned the tide of battle. For the first time in living memory, they felt a glimmer of hope. The Empire's ships, once symbols of invincibility, were now little more than burning wrecks. The Supercarrier's presence was a revelation, a reminder that humanity was not as helpless as the galaxy believed. On the bridge of the eclipse, Dr. Elena Voss monitored the battle with a mixture of pride and apprehension. The ship was performing beyond expectations, but the fight was far from over. The Empire would not take this defeat lightly, and she knew they would return with even greater force. As the last of the Imperial ships fled the battlefield, the eclipse stood victorious. Its hull gleamed in the light of the colony's sun, a beacon of hope for all who had suffered under the Empire's tyranny. But even as the colonists celebrated, Elena knew this was only the beginning. The Empire would not rest until the eclipse was destroyed and humanity's newfound hope extinguished. The Supercarrier had proven its worth, but the true test was yet to come. For now, though, humanity had struck a blow against their oppressors, and that was enough. The eclipse had shown the galaxy that humanity was not to be underestimated, and that was a message the Empire would not soon forget. The Empire's defeat at New Horizons sent shockwaves through the galaxy. For the first time in centuries, their invincibility had been called into question. The news spread like wildfire, reaching every corner of their vast dominion. The Imperial High Command was furious, their pride wounded by the audacity of humanity's defiance. They could not allow this insult to stand. The eclipse had to be destroyed, and humanity's resistance crushed once and for all. Orders were issued, fleets mobilized, and resources diverted to the hunt. The Empire's response was swift and merciless, a testament to their determination to maintain their grip on power. A massive armada was assembled, the largest the galaxy had seen in generations. Hundreds of ships, each more advanced than the last, converged on the coordinates of the eclipse's last known location. The Empire's commanders were confident in their overwhelming numbers, their superior technology, and their unyielding resolve. They would not make the same mistake twice. This time, there would be no room for error. The eclipse would be annihilated, and humanity's brief moment of hope extinguished in a blaze of fire and plasma. Aboard the eclipse, the mood was tense but determined. The crew had known this day would come, and they had prepared for it. Dr. Elena Voss and her team worked around the clock, fine-tuning the ship systems and running simulations of every possible scenario. The Supercarrier's AI tactical system was updated with the latest data on Imperial tactics, its algorithms refined to anticipate every move the enemy might make. The crew, though outnumbered and outgunned, was ready to fight. They knew the stakes, and they were willing to give everything to protect their species and their future. The battle began with a ferocity that took even the seasoned Imperial commanders by surprise. The eclipse struck first, its particle cannons slicing through the lead ships of the Armada before they could react. The Empire's forces retaliated with everything they had, their weapons lighting up the void with a blinding intensity. The Supercarrier's shields held firm, absorbing the brunt of the assault, but the sheer volume of fire was overwhelming. The crew worked tirelessly, their hands flying across control panels as they struggled to keep the ship operational. The AI tactical system analyzed the battlefield in real time, directing the Eclipse's movements with a precision that bordered on prescience. Despite their best efforts, the Eclipse began to take damage. Hull breaches were sealed, systems rerouted, and power diverted to critical areas. The crew fought not just for their lives, but for the future of their species. They knew that if the Eclipse fell, humanity's last hope would fall with it. The Empire's armada pressed the attack, their numbers seemingly endless. But the Eclipse was not alone. Word of its victory at New Horizon had spread, and other species, long oppressed by the Empire, began to rally to its cause. Small fleets of rebel ships joined the fray, their weapons adding to the chaos. Though outmatched, they fought with a desperation born of centuries of suffering. The battle raged for hours, the Eclipse at its center. The Supercarrier's weapons fired relentlessly, its missiles and cannons carving a path through the Imperial fleet. The AI tactical system adapted to every new threat, its algorithms evolving with each passing moment. The crew, though exhausted, refused to give up. They knew that every second they held out was a second closer to victory. The Empire's commanders, confident in their superiority, began to falter. Their ships, though numerous, were no match for the Eclipse's advanced technology and the determination of its crew. Finally, the tide began to turn. The Eclipse's relentless assault began to take its toll on the Imperial Armada. Ships fell one by one, their hulls torn apart by the Supercarrier's weapons. The Empire's commanders, realizing the futility of their efforts, began to retreat. The Eclipse, though battered and bruised, stood victorious once more. The crew cheered, their voices echoing through the ship's corridors. They had done the impossible, defying the might of the Empire and emerging triumphant. But the victory came at a cost. The Eclipse was heavily damaged, its systems pushed to their limits. The crew, though victorious, knew that the fight was far from over. The Empire would not rest until the Supercarrier was destroyed and humanity's resistance crushed. But for now, they had won. The Eclipse had proven itself a force to be reckoned with, a symbol of hope for all who dare to defy the Empire. The galaxy would never be the same. The aftermath of the battle was a turning point for the galaxy. The Empire's once unshakable dominance was now in question, their defeat at the hands of the Eclipse sending ripples of uncertainty through their ranks. News of the Supercarrier's victory spread like wildfire, reaching every corner of the galaxy. For the first time in centuries, oppressed species dared to hope. The Eclipse had become a symbol of resistance, a beacon of defiance against the Empire's tyranny. On human colonies and alien worlds alike, whispers of rebellion grew louder. The Empire's grip on power was slipping, and they knew it. Aboard the Eclipse, the mood was one of cautious optimism. The crew had achieved the impossible, but they were under no illusions about the challenges that lay ahead. The Supercarrier was heavily damaged, its systems strained to their limits. Repairs were underway, but it would take time to restore the ship to full functionality. Dr. Elena Voss and her team worked tirelessly, their hands moving with practiced precision as they patched up the hull and recalibrated the systems. The AI tactical system, though still operational, had been pushed to its limits. Updates were being uploaded, its algorithms refined to prepare for the next battle. The crew, though exhausted, remained steadfast. They knew their fight was far from over. The Empire, meanwhile, was in disarray. Their defeat had exposed cracks in their once impenetrable facade. Commanders who had once been unshakable in their loyalty now questioned the wisdom of their leaders. The loss of such a massive armada was a blow to their morale, and the fear of the Eclipse's capabilities spread like a virus. The Imperial High Command, desperate to regain control, issued orders for an even larger fleet to be assembled. They would not rest until the Eclipse was destroyed and humanity's resistance crushed. But their efforts were hampered by growing unrest within their own ranks. The seeds of rebellion, once sown, were beginning to take root. As the Eclipse underwent repairs, messages began to pour in from across the galaxy. Species long oppressed by the Empire reached out, offering their support and resources. Small fleets of rebel ships, once scattered and disorganized, began to coalesce around the Supercarrier. They saw the eclipse as their best chance at freedom, a symbol of hope in a galaxy dominated by fear. Elena and her crew welcomed support, but they knew it came with risks. The Empire would stop at nothing to destroy them, and every ally they gained was a potential target. Still, they could not turn away those who sought to join their cause. The fight was bigger than humanity now. It was a fight for the future of the galaxy itself. The Eclipse's next move was critical. The crew knew they could not afford to rest on their laurels. The Empire would come for them again, and they had to be ready. Plans were drawn up, strategies debated, and alliances forged. The Supercarrier's AI tactical system was updated with data from the recent battle. Its algorithms refined to anticipate the Empire's next move. The crew trained relentlessly, their skills honed to a razor's edge. They knew the next battle would be even harder, but they were ready. The Eclipse was more than a ship. It was a symbol of hope, and they would defend it with their lives. When the Empire's next attack came, it was even more brutal than the last. Their fleet was larger, their tactics more ruthless. But the Eclipse was ready. The Supercarrier's weapons fired with deadly precision, its shields holding firm against the onslaught. The rebel fleets fought alongside it, their ships adding to the chaos. The battle was fierce, the void lit with the flashes of weapons fire and explosions of dying ships. The Eclipse SAI tactical system adapted to every new threat, its algorithms evolving with each passing moment. The crew, though outnumbered, fought with a determination born of desperation. They knew that if they failed, the galaxy would fall back into darkness. In the end, it was the Empire's own arrogance that sealed their fate. Their commanders, confident in their superiority, underestimated the Eclipse once again. The Supercarrier's weapons found their mark, tearing through the Imperial fleet with devastating efficiency. The rebel ships, emboldened by the Eclipse's leadership, fought with ferocity that surprised even themselves. The Empire's forces, once so confident, began to falter. Their ships fell one by one, their commanders realizing too late the cost of underestimating their enemies. The Eclipse emerged victorious once more, but the cost was high. The Supercarrier was battered, its hull scarred and its systems strained. The crew, though triumphant, mourned their losses, but they knew their fight had not been in vain. The Empire's power was crumbling, their once mighty fleets reduced to ash. The galaxy, long oppressed, was beginning to rise. The Eclipse had shown them that the Empire was not invincible, that freedom was possible. And as the Supercarrier drifted through the void, its hull gleaming in the light of a distant star, it stood as a symbol of hope for all who dared to dream of a better future. The fight was far from over, but for the first time in centuries, the galaxy had a chance. And that was enough.